Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ardira Mahaja. I'm from PB18. NIM 2X0 2509012. Today I'm gonna answering homework problem and question chapter 4 review question section 4.2 and individual question. So I'm gonna answering section 4.2 first. So R10 three types of switching fabrics are discussed on section 4.2. List and briefly describe each type, which if any can send multiple packets across the fabric. So the answer is the first one is crossbar. Matrix like interconnect where they any input can connect to output can send multiple packets in parallel sorry in they are destined for different outputs. And for number two, bus shared communication medium where only packet traverses at the time cannot send multiple packets in the parallel. And for number three, multi-stage switching networks. Composite switching networks composed of smaller switching arranged in stages can send multiple packets in parallel if they use different paths to the network. And we moving to individual question. So the question is, each family has delegate family member to collect and distribute letters for the other family members. The letters do not necessarily provide any indication on the recipients of the letters. Please explain. The answer is first, a buffering analogy. Like like salt in the food, the right amount of buffering is beneficial, but too much made it unusable. So number two is a community system where each family has a designated member who handle letters. This person collects and distributes letters to other family members. And the last one, the letters themselves do not indicate who the recipients are. So that's all my answer for this week 4. Thank you guys for uh, staying here. Thank you. Thank you all.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aisyah Finasari with NIM 2X02532854. Today I want to answer question R8. What is meant by destination-based forwarding? Destination-based forwarding is a method where a router or switch makes forwarding decision based solely on the destination address of a packet. The device examines the packet destination IP address, looks it up in its forwarding table, and then directs it to the next hop accordingly. This approach is commonly used in traditional IP routing, where routers maintain forwarding table based on the destination subnets. Generalized forwarding. Generalized forwarding, on the other hand, does not rely solely on the destination address. Instead, it allows forwarding decision to be made based on multiple fields in the packet header, such as search address, protocol type, or even application-specific fields. This approach is more flexible and enables the implementation of advanced network policies, such as traffic engineering, quality of service, and security filtering. Difference between the two. The key difference between the two approaches is the level of flexibility in packet forwarding. Destination-based forwarding is simple and efficient, but limited to making decisions based only on the destination address. Generalized forwarding provides more flexibility by allowing forwarding decisions based on various header fields, enabling more complex and programmable networking behaviors. Software-defined networking (SDN) adopts generalized forwarding because it relies on centralized control and flexible flow-based rules rather than static destination-based forwarding. SDN controllers program the network device with flow rules that match packet based on multiple criteria, allowing dynamic and programmable traffic management. Thank you.
Hello Sir Hari, I will make solve problem for R9. Resolving forwarding table conflict in traditional router. And then we start with a reliable scenario. Imagine you're sending a letter and it could fit multiple addresses. How does the post office decide where to send it? So we're going to discuss a similar situation in networking. Focusing on R9, a question about how router handle conflicting interests in their forwarding table. This is crucial for understanding how routes efficiency directly traffic on the internet. Briefly, what forwarding table is? A router address book that maps destination address to output port. Highlight the scenario. A packet arrive and its destination address match multiple entries in the table. Why does this happen? Like this route defined for different purposes. So the router needs to decide which entry to use, which directly impact where the packet is sent. So traditionally, how rule called longest prefix matching to resolve this conflict. So how it works? Network address are implemented as prefix like example like 9192.168.1.0/24. The root select the entry with the longest matching prefix. Analogy, a more specific address, the longer prefix, is like more detailed instruction. So it's text precedence. Example, entry 1, 192.198.1.0/24. So entry 2, 192.168.1./16 also match that. The router chose entry 1 because /24 is longer than /16. Benefit: provide efficient and accurate routing, and then allow for hierarchical networking addressing. So summarize that longest prefix matching is the key mechanism for resolving forwarding table conflict in traditional router. This ensures packets are delivered to correct destination, contributing to the overall reliability of the internet. So, to keep it simple, avoid overly technical jargon, use visual if possible, and add a simple diagram of a router and a forwarding table. Engage the audience. Ask questions that this structure. Ever wonder how your internet traffic gets to the right place? Router play a key role, but sometimes that they face a tricky decision. Let's talk about how routers solve the problem of multiple match in their forwarding table. So, router use a forwarding table to decide where the data send packet. Imagine a packet arrive at in its destination address match more than one entry in this table. Which one does that router choose? So, some forwarding table but no implies the network prefix and they are compared considering highlighting the longest matching prefix. So, for example, in one entry is 192.18.1.0/24 and then the other you're using /16, totally choose the entry /24 because it's more specific. It's like having a more detailed address on a letter. It gets delivery more accurately. So I guess that's all, maybe, because I think that's all everything I can tell about this. Alright, thank you sir for everything.
Hello, my name is Chloe N. Richards, and my student ID is 280-25-22-954. Have you ever wondered how high-speed routers manage to forward data packets so quickly? One key reason is that each input port stores a shadow copy of the forwarding table. But why is this important? Let's break it down. In a high-speed router, data packets arrive at different input ports, and each packet needs to be forwarded to the right destination. The forwarding table is what helps determine where each packet should go. Now, the router's central processing unit, CPU, has a main forwarding table, but if every input port had to ask the CPU every time a packet arrived, this would slow things down significantly. The CPU would get overloaded with requests, and the entire network would experience delays. This is where shadow copies come in. Each input port has its own copy of the forwarding table. allowing it to make forwarding decisions on its own without waiting for the CPU. This means as soon as the packet arrives, the input port can immediately check its table and decide where to send it next. No delays, no waiting, and it's fast and efficient. Another reason for shadow copies is that high-speed routers handle a massive amount of data, often processing millions of packets per second. If every packet had to go through the CPU for forwarding decisions, the router simply wouldn't be able to keep up. By having a local copy of the forwarding table, input ports can operate independently, making the whole system much faster and more scalable. Of course, these shadow copies need to stay updated. The router ensures that whenever there are changes to the main forwarding table, like new routers being added or old ones being removed, each input port updates its copy accordingly. This keeps everything synchronized while still allowing for high-speed processing. So in summary, each input port in a high-speed router stores a shadow copy of the forwarding table to prevent bottlenecks, enable instant forwarding decisions, and handle large amounts of data efficiently. Without these shadow copies, routers wouldn't be able to keep up with today's fast-paced internet traffic, and that's why they are so important. This has been a simple breakdown of why high-speed routers use shadow copies for forwarding tables.
Hello, my name is Salma Sania Sadila Simatupang, NIM 28024999466. A router comprises four main components: input port, output port, switching fabric, and a routing processor. This component can be implemented in hardware, software, or a combination of both, depending on their function and performance requirement. One, input ports and output ports. The implementation is primarily in hardware because these ports handle the reception and transmission of data package requiring high-speed processing to maintain network efficiency. Hardware implementation ensures rapid data handling and minimizes latency. 2. Switching fabric. The implementation is typically in hardware because the switching fabric is responsible for transferring data package from input ports to the appropriate output ports within the router. Implementing this component in hardware allows for high-speed package switching and efficient data flow management. 3. Routing processor. The implementation can be in software, hardware, or a combination of both because the routing processor determines the optimal path for data package using routing algorithm and maintain routing tables. Software implementation offers flexibility and ease of updates, while hardware implementation can enhance processing speed. The choice depends on the router design and performance requirement. 1. Data plan. The implementation is primarily in hardware because the data plan, also known as the forwarding plan, is responsible for the actual transmission of data package based on established routing tables. Hardware implementation ensures fast package forwarding and efficient data handling, which are crucial for maintaining high network performance. 2. Control plan. The implementation is primarily in software because the control plan manages the routing information and network topology by running routing protocols and making decisions about data package path. Implementing this function in software provides flexibility, allowing for dynamic updates and adaptability to network change. In summary, input ports, output ports, and the switching fabric are generally implemented in hardware to facilitate rapid data processing and forwarding data plan function. In contrast, the routing processor operates within the control plan and is typically implemented in software to allow for flexible and dynamic network management.